welcome to Unfiltered Discussions. You have Nash in the building.
You got Ash in the building.
And today we have three special guests. Stephanie with an F, Miss Sharon, the OG, and Shafi at the end. What a better time to bring together powerful women on Women's History Month. I couldn't think of a better day to do so. So today I would like to discuss what is it like being a woman? Just get down deep into womanhood as a whole. So Ash, would you like to think first?
Yeah. So, I'm going to talk about, the challenges of being a woman, not in the history or anything like that, but the actual challenge, and this could be individualized. For me, prior to me having children, the challenge was a lot of people would come up to me and ask me, when are you having children? And mind you, I'm 29, 30 at this point. And you got people saying, oh, you're not having no children. You're not having no children, And for me, I felt some kind of way because it kind of made me feel like I was supposed to have children at 29, 30 years old because everybody else had children. Or people would look at you like, well, she can't have children? Or why she ain't got no children yet? So you deal with the stigma behind that. And you wouldn't think that would be something that would be a stigma placed on it, but it is. And now, here it is, I'm 35 years old and I have a 4-year-old. And that is a challenge within itself, because that's something new to me. I'm up, down, and around all over the place, And then it was a challenge right after I had my son, because 6 months my son out, are you having any more children? Excuse me. Excuse me. I don't think so.
Let me address.
Yeah. Let me at least have, if I want to have one, that's my personal choice in business, So that's a challenge for me. So.
Yeah, I like that you touched on that because a lot of people don't know that's a sensitive topic for women. You don't know the struggles that a woman is dealing with. It could be infertility. It could be, I might have had 6, 7 miscarriages, but you would never know. And you're asking me things that triggers me and put me into a space that I'm trying to get away from. And yes, I can understand how that makes you feel. So, with my experience, having a kid at 17, everybody think that, oh, your life is over, you're not going to become anything, and that's just that. And then when you do the total opposite, it's like, oh, wow, okay, I see you, so you're not a statistic, right? So, and no, I don't recommend anyone to go that path, becoming a mom early, but if that's your lane, then, and if that's just what's going to happen to you, then that's just what it is. Because yes, it's challenges within that too. You have to really do more. You really have to be responsible for someone else. You know what I mean? The sacrifices are different. So that kid mentality is out the window, whether you want it to be or not. It's not about you no more, right? So it's extremely important that if someone is a teen mom, that the support system is there, right? Because doing that alone is not no easy task. Especially if you're not a person that's driven, that's goal-oriented, you will come into, challenges that statistic thing that everyone speak of can transpire for you, right? So yes, being a teen mom may have been my biggest challenge as far as coming into womanhood, not being a woman overall, and I'll get more into that as we go along. Stephanie with an F, what's your take on it?
First of all, I think that in society we have to stop asking people about why they don't have children, or when are you going to have children, or, oh girl, you having more children. It's like, know your lane, know your place. It's an inappropriate question. Stop doing it. I want to go back to Ashley and just ask Ashley a question. What do you feel like your biggest challenge is in parenthood? Because I hear you say like you're down and around and you're out and about. It's like, what do you feel like your biggest challenge is in parenthood?
I would say being a single parent would be the biggest challenge, because as a woman, the expectation is more, because the father is kind of like, oh, it's expected for him to not to be around, so you have no choice but to lace up your boots and do what you got to do at the end of the day. There's no, oh, I can get a break. Or if you're that one that don't have your children, oh, she ain't got her kid. Oh wow, she will never have her son. Where her son be at? So it's a lot of that right there is definitely a challenge. Yes.
Okay, Miss Sharon.
I understand what y'all are saying. Being an older adult now and not having kids, so I was 28 years old. Like now I have asked my kids, okay, y'all know I want a grandchild before I die, right? And it's just to say I do want this child, a little child, I do grandchild, but they're not ready. I'm not going to push my child out there to do anything if they're not ready. Actually, I can relate to you with the age I was when I had my first daughter. And all my girlfriends had their kids earlier. And so I was still partying and enjoyed my 20s to an extent until I ended up pregnant when I was 28. Now, as you said, Shannon, everything stopped. Now I have to become a mother.
Absolutely.
And I have to do it in that struggle within by itself. It tends to be lonely sometimes because now I have judgment. So now, and not only lonely within your family circle or who you think your support system is, but also lonely within as a woman because, oh wow, now I have this child to take care of. I have come up with a saying, the best way to get rid of a man is have a baby by him.
Oh gosh, yes.
And because I see so many, be in love. And even through my own experience, we so in love, but soon after I have this baby, now where's the love going?
What is that?
Because to me, and only in my experience, I'm not saying this is for all men or anything, but he began to be jealous by the love that I was giving the child. And he felt ignored and everything, and no matter what I did, it still wasn't enough because I still had to take care of this child, which replaced me taking care of you.
Exactly. I love that take on it. Because you never really understand that. It's like, Dad, we was good, we was in love, we was doing us. And it's like the kid put a wedge between them.
Yes.
And it's our kid together though.
Exactly.
So you would think that the love is mutual and we going on this new journey together. And not to say that the men don't love their children, but men are children, adult children. You know what I mean? And no, fellas, I'm not dashing you guys, but it's the truth. Right? So I really like that take on it. Shafiq, may we hear you, please?
Yes. So, to double back on Shannon with the being a young parent, same thing for me. She knows, they know. I was 15 when I got pregnant with my first kid. And by the time I was 16, I was in labor having my first kid. It was the most scariest thing in my life. And it's like, as soon as I brought her home, I could not be alone with her. I suffered really bad postpartum depression to the point my mom like, girl, you better get it together. They're going to take this baby from you. Why are you sitting up here doing that? It's like, one day I got up, got dressed to go outside. And y'all know mommy, she said, oh, where you going at? I'm like, I'm going outside. She said, oh yeah, you are. So put that baby clothes on, put the smoke and take her with you. What you think this is? I'm like, what? Right then my reality set in and I was crushed. Like I didn't know what to do. I was afraid, although my mother was there, we had a house full, my siblings were around, but still it was my responsibility. And then, back on that again, being a single parent, so soon, so young, I didn't even know what to do with myself. So like I said, I cried every day, and the pain that I felt in my body and within myself, behind the depression, having a kid so young, I didn't even know what I was really getting myself into. It's very scary. And just like you, Ashley, yes, the perception of people like, oh, well, when you going to have kids, or are you going to have more, or damn girl, you pregnant again? Yes, I am. Yes, absolutely. What is it to you? This is my life. I'm raising my kids. I got this. They're all right. But people don't understand. The kids don't understand. They think parenting is clothing them, feeding them, giving them money. They don't understand the sacrifice and the struggle behind us as mothers. No, we are responsible for a whole life. Like, we have to mold you into, 9 times out of 10, they're never going to be who you want them to be. They're always going to grow and have their own, identity, perception, and life, everything. So you cannot bash yourself when these kids grow up and become who they want to be and not who you want to be, because you have to realize they are not you, they are them.
Absolutely.
Period.
Absolutely. So my next question to you guys is, since we get, know the challenges that we feel like, not as a whole, being a woman, just a little, detail. What is the most rewarding thing in being a woman for you?
Being a mother, knowing that I could take care of somebody and really love somebody unconditionally, my child, and it was like, wow, like once you really get in the mommy mood, you're able to really look at your child and be like, damn, no matter what my son do, it doesn't even matter. You mad for 2 seconds and you're right back in it. Come here, baby. Oh, come on. Right back at it. And it's nothing, and it comes naturally, like to really love my son, and he's my company. Like I love him as my company, although he can be a little pain in the butt sometimes, but that's my right name.
Absolutely.
For me, I feel like I can be whatever I want to be. Like being a woman, you can literally, it's so rewarding because I can be anything. We can, dress up, dress down. We can do careers that men can't do some of the things that we do. Okay? So we can fit in any role that we want to fit in, right? And the things that's supposed to break us, sometimes they do, but most of the times they make us stronger, become out way better than when we went in, right? So being a woman to me is everything. Like I wouldn't trade it for nothing. And yes, of course, motherhood is rewarding. But if I wasn't a woman, I wouldn't be a mother. You understand? So just to be able to face every challenge and overcome your adversities is like, wow, damn, I did that. I can go ahead and go a full day of work, still be a mother, come home, cook, clean, still, cater to your significant other, still battle with whatever else is going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's like never enough. Like, everything could be piled on us and we're going to figure it out. Like, we are like the strongest people on this planet. And men know that. They really do. That's why, that you see them, leaning towards us for everything, right?
Yes.
And then one thing that we got to learn as women too is that although yes, the men look to us for a lot of things, we still got to let them think they running it a little bit.
Not saying that's the hard part, but
because they want to be included too. And don't get it wrong. Yes, men bring their own things to the table that we can't.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful for that, fellas. But being a woman, ain't nothing topping that, and that's just my take on it. Definitely enough,
Baby, listen. First of all, the future is female. Let's just throw that out there, okay? The most rewarding thing for me as a woman that sometimes I let it hang all out, sometimes I dress it up, sometimes listen, but every day I wake up, I'm a confident woman. I know that I have an opportunity to do something different. I have the opportunity to be impressionable. I have the opportunity to be absolutely anything, anywhere I want to be because of who I am. Not just because I'm a woman, just because of who I am. The way I walk, the way I talk, the way I get it done, baby. I am me. Okay? That's the most rewarding thing for me. So, and it just so happens that I am what, baby?
a woman.
Amen.
Yes, Miss Sharon, your take on
As for
that?
me, the biggest reward for me is my strength as a woman.
Yes.
Being able to identify that strength and walk in it.
Mm.
Walk in my own willingness to grow, my own ability to grow, to find my determination that who I can be and what I can do. And that's my greatest reward. That I had found my strength as being a woman.
Yes. I love that. Shafi.
For me, I like to say being superwoman. I mean, I know that I cannot do everything, but it's the fact that when my kids see me and they look at me and they see me as superwoman, knowing that no matter what, I don't care how long it takes, they come to me, they tell me what they want, I know what they need, I don't care how long it takes, I get it done. And the fact that I have 2 daughters, although like I said, they are going to grow and become their own self, but I see a lot of me in them, the go-getter status, the independence, them standing up on their own, everything, knowing that at the end of the day, whether you have help or not, you got to do it anyway, because if not you, who? I love my go-getter mentality, and it's like, I do understand a lot of times the way I am, my independence, my go-getter mentality, a lot of times that scare men away, but that's okay, because obviously you cannot be a man if you are intimidated by me and what I bring to the table. Like, I'm not taking anything from you, so if you feel like there is a time you need to step in and take things, you know, into your own hands or relieve the world off my shoulders, fine, by all means, come do it. But to be honest, I haven't had nobody come to me yet and tell me, Shafi, relax, I got you. Everything gonna be all right. No, I'm looking at myself in the mirror like, Shafi, girl, you good. Everything gonna be all right. God got you. Get back against the wall, he gonna push you off.
You know, that's some girl, that's how God got me. Listen, once we say God got me, you know it's over.
What
That's
you say,
it.
God got me, and it happens.
And, you know, I can agree with you, and I understand what you're saying, because a lot of times, you know, men become intimidated by what we're able to do. It's like, okay, well, you feel as though I should be on a certain level. Why can't I rise? Why can't I be the breadwinner here? And, you know, oh, that's intimidating for me. You taking my manhood, my pride. No, if I'm willing to take the time to become educated and rise and be an individual, then I'm doing it for my individual growth. I'm not doing it to help you or anything, but if you're along the way, then God bless you. Let's go.
That part, and that's what a lot of men get misconstrued, baby. When you are with me and you are mine, if I level up, so do you.
Exactly.
Okay, this is not a competition.
Not at all.
And hopefully that inspire you to also level up.
Exactly.
Wow, my woman doing this, my woman doing that. Now, if I'm not inspired to level up to my woman, then maybe I need to step back and look at my own inabilities.
That part, and that's a man being comfortable in his own skin and know where he going, where he at in life.
Exactly.
You know, a lot of times, you know, people in general, even down to other women, right? They don't know who they are, right? So they either mimic or they have jealous tendencies. And to me, I'm all about women empowerment. Like, I love to see a woman go get it. Like, oh, she did that. Oh, that's dope. I don't even have to know you. And if I see you doing your thing, that makes me happy, right? Because women deal with enough as it is. And that's the honest to God truth. Like, so many women has been violated, disrespected, unappreciated, and you know, even now we know we for it in a work world to be equal, and we still ain't.
Still fine.
You know what I mean? And we like the most educated individuals. And a lot of people forget, you know, don't realize that. Well, women are so educated and can do so many different things because we're so many different heads. Tell us the role and we're going to get right into it, right? So, and that right there speaks volumes.
It does.
And you would think that more people will respect that, appreciate that, and love that. How can you look at that as negative?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, why? Because, you know, everybody got inner self that they got to work on. If something like that ticks you off, that is you and ain't me. I'm
Now
taking
it's time for me to
personal.
take a look at myself
Exactly.
and why it ticks me
And
off.
that be the problem with people. They don't have the ability to step back and say, maybe I'm the issue.
Exactly.
Where's the self accountability?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, my next question to you guys is like, okay, we all started somewhere, right? We got our middles, because we're not at our end yet, right? We still growing, we still evolving, we still, you know, sometimes we always think we know what we want, and then we get into it, and we're like, wait a minute, let me back up a little bit. This ain't it. Let me switch gears a little bit, right? So, like, knowing where you come from and where you at now, like, what was your most valuable lesson in that? What did you take from that? Like, what would you say to yourself that started here and then right now where you at? Like, how do you measure that? What would you say? What would you take from? Who likes to go first?
I'll go first. All right. From where I'm in, how I measure from today and from when I was back then, I would say more so the challenge was, I would say, a job more so. I would say that was a challenge because when I was 19, I didn't really know what I wanted. I knew that I wanted to go to hair school at the time, but I didn't think anything beyond that. Then once I started working at different jobs that wasn't working for me or getting passed over for different job opportunities and things, I wound up saying, you know what, I can't be 50 or 60 years old and be in this career, wearing my body down. So I said to myself, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and go to school. Wind up going to school, but I didn't think nothing of it. I just was like, all right, I'm gonna just go to CCP and that's gonna be that. I didn't think that I would get a bachelor's degree out of going to CCP. I just knew that I was going to school. So that was my biggest challenge, trying to find a job. I didn't get a full-time job till I was in my late 20s. I was working part-time here and there, 2 or 3 jobs, but that was the biggest challenge for me. But today, I feel like I have grown within myself, and I've grown as a person, added to that self-awareness piece, understanding what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, and really tapping into my emotions at the end of the day. Because before, I was nasty. I felt like everybody was out to get me. I was on defense mode, all those different things. So I felt like I had evolved as a woman at the end of the day. So I feel like, that was the biggest thing. But what woke me up was being in a relationship and not knowing what I wanted and thought I knew what I wanted based off of experiencing emotional neglect and psychological abuse at the end of the day. So I didn't know what I wanted. You just know what you want when you've been through some things, and you step back and look at yourself and take accountability for the parts you played in certain things. And then once you do that, it's all bets are off after that, and you evolve.
Okay, I can understand that. Who want to go next?
What's your question again?
Seeing where so we come from, you started here and you right here, Chris, we're not finished yet. Like, what it was your most valuable lesson in that? Like what do you take out of that? Like,
the most valuable lesson for me was identifying that I can love myself. So many times, I looked for love on the outside and thought it was in this, that, and when actually it wasn't in me. So I looked elsewhere and I searched elsewhere and I desired this, and all of that took me through a whole bunch of trials and tribulations of not being happy, of still not being accepted. And I wasn't being accepted because I didn't know how to accept myself. So I say through all that pain and growing, I had to identify and look at where did these feelings come from that I would put myself out there to play a victim when I was actually volunteering for the pain. I keep my hand out there for you to take, but then I don't know how to put my hand over my own heart and say I love you, but I'm gonna tell you I love you and I'm gonna give you all of me, and will often lose myself in loving somebody else. So that had to stop for me, and I had to take a look at my past. I had to take a look at my childhood. And I had to take a look at how I felt when my mother died as a child. I had to take a look at my father. I had to take where I lived at, the multiple households that I lived at, still as a child searching for that love because I didn't have my mother, and I desired somebody to hug me and come at me and say, I love you. And because I didn't get that then, all of that transpired as I got older, and it came out in relationships. You know what I mean? It came so painful for me that after my last relationship, I had to take the time back and say, oh, we can't keep blaming them when it's actually you. So taking that time not to be into another relationship, okay, now you got to learn how to be in a relationship with yourself. And being in a relationship with myself, I had to do some work on myself. I had to look at it and I had to face the pain. I had to face what I didn't like about me in order for me to realize and understand it, accept it, deal with it, so I could begin to heal within it. And this, all that involving, tends to be painful. As women, we tend to hold so much in because we feel as though we have no one to speak to. But what worked for me was the ink and the paper. Because even though if I had no one to speak to, I could speak to myself by writing it on a page and reflecting back on how I've grown, on what I'm still doing, what I'm not doing, and where I want to be.
I love it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, transparency at its finest. Stephanie with an F or Shafi?
Okay, so mine's for me is overcoming my fears. It's like then I always felt like I had to walk around on eggshells, like in any and everything, because other people's perception of me scared me. it's like if I do this, damn, they gonna think this about me, or if I do that, damn, they gonna be talking about me, damn, if I do this, they're gonna be upset with me. But I've been living my life through the eyes of my sisters, my mothers, my friends, my aunts, and it's like everything that I've been doing basically was based off, damn, I don't want them to look at me, you know, in this kind of light because it's not this or it's not that. So I would have to say getting over my fears, because right now, where I am today, I don't have a lot of fears, and I can't live my life based off what other people think about me, what they have to say about me, because when I learned that people are going to live their life according to their own terms and how they want to, I have to do the same thing for me. And they're not worrying about what people think or what people say. But I've been walking in the shadow for so long, fearing that I may do something that'll have people talking about me or seeing me as somebody that I'm not. Now I don't care. If I live my life, if I do this, if I do whatever I want to do, I know the consequences I have to face when I look in the mirror at myself, and not think about other people in my head or think about what anybody else will think and say about me. And to piggyback off Sherm, I understand what she means. See, my problem, and I'm still learning. I am still learning. I have not gotten there 100%, but I am learning. And although I still make the same mistakes in relationship, that does not mean that I am not woke. That does not mean I don't know what's happening. My problem is when I love somebody, I love so deep, I love so hard, and it's hard for me to detach myself from this person because everything that I'm feeling. So in this moment, I know that being with this person is hurting me, but at the same time, it feels so good to me because although the negative, but when we in the good and we in the positive, the way I feel is something different. So I know eventually I have to stand up, and if I have to walk away, then I have to, but I have to do it when I'm ready. Because if I let go too soon, I fear that I will be holding on to something that I have no control over, something that should have probably been passed, something that was temporary, and I'm trying to make it a lifetime thing. I just need to make sure that this is what I want and get the proper closure I need within any situation that I'm dealing with, because to leave it the way it is unsettling for me, because being so much for someone, yourself and your children, and them not giving you that back in return, it's hard to decipher, honestly. So you still sitting around looking like, well, they're gonna change, they're gonna appreciate, they'll see, you know what I'm saying? So it's like when they don't, and it's still happening, I'm move on.
Okay.
For me, my biggest lesson that I learned is that it's okay to readjust and reevaluate what works for you. I'm still in a process of learning how to communicate effectively. I'm 32 and I'm learning how to communicate effectively. For years, I either shut it down or I'm explosive. There's no in between. I don't know how to communicate on a healthy level. I'm extremely either toxic about it or I just disappear. So I am learning within myself the power of communication, the power of your own voice. And it's okay to sit back and say, okay, let me reintroduce myself to myself because this isn't working for me over here and that's not working for me either. So let me get in the mirror and look at myself and say, okay, that's not working for you and I. Let's go back to the basics of it. So that's what I'm learning. I'm learning the power of communication through myself.
So I love it, I love it, I love it. For me, it's not reacting, right? I react. I don't know how to not react. You know, and it don't matter. I've never, like, the worst thing I want to feel somebody's getting over on me.
Yeah.
That puts me in a space that I don't even have words to describe it, right? So I react, like, and I don't want to react, right? I don't want to, like, show my hand, right? Even if you really, like, got up under my skin, and I don't want you to know that you did, but you did, and then I just, like, reacts to things. But I'm learning though, like, a lot of things that I normally would react to, like, like shy away from. And I also learned to distance myself from things or people that, triggers me, right? And it's not always in a negative sense, but still, like, if I can't have too much of you around me, right? I need to back it up a little bit because I might have a lot of love for you, but I don't want to deal with you on a daily basis. You understand? So that right there, I'm grown in that area, right? And that's been a challenge, because especially if you're used to, living your life and running your life a certain way, but when you start, leveling up and go in different places, everybody can't come.
That's true.
You know what I mean? And so many people are negative, right? They pretend they have you in their best interest, but if you really listen to what they're saying, and sometimes what they're not saying, you'll pick it right up, right? Discouraging. You understand? Like, just all around negative. And I know it doesn't have anything to do with me. It has something to do with me because I know I'm resilient, right? I'm going to, if I say I'm going to do it, it's going to get done. And I've always been like that, right? It's nothing that I feel like I cannot do. And I would love for you to tell me I can't, because then I'm going to show up and show out real fast on you, right? But I don't need that because it doesn't have nothing to do with me. It tells me more about you, right? Because I would never sit there. If you tell me, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire tomorrow, girl, yeah, you sure is. I bet you is, right? I'm going to start my book. Please do it because I want to read that, right? I'm about to do stand-up poetry. What are you waiting for? Ma'am, when are you making those wigs? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm all for it. Do you? Do you? I would never tell nobody what they can't do. I'm not in nobody's way because I'm not in my own way. Never will be, right? So yeah, like, me not reacting is like something because I've been reacting all my life, right? I'm always in, ain't nobody gonna do that to me mode. You know what I mean? Like, and yes, like you said, I guess it probably stems from childhood. You know what I mean? Just protecting me at the end of the day. So yeah, that's been like my biggest challenge, and something from here to there, and I'm still in the middle of it, like trying to figure it all out. But I'm getting there, and I'm happy about that, right? Do you have like a question you would like to ask? Cause I was
Okay,
good.
I'm gonna flip it just a little bit. I mean, as women, we tend to tear each other down. And I've noticed that as women, we deal with a lot of body shaming. We body shame each other as women. We tend to do that a lot. Like, it could be the smallest thing, and we sitting up there tagging on what somebody look like, not the situation. If somebody crossing the street, you be like, oh, not that she dumb for crossing the street. You're tagging on, oh, she look dirty, she look this, she look that, or just really just tearing a woman down in general. It could be somebody that looks very nice. Women seem like act like they're taking away from themselves when you're giving another woman a compliment. You're not taking away from yourself.
Exactly.
When you're giving another woman a compliment or uplifting another woman, and that's what some women tend to do. That's where a lot of women get it misconstrued. Like, oh, if I say she look nice, that's kind of taking away from my shine, and it's not. It's not. It shows that you're confident as a woman.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day. You're comfortable in the skin that you're in, and you're able to say, Dad, you look really nice, and I like that. And that goes to show when you have some women that are around and not able to compliment you on your accomplishments and your different levels in life, that says a lot about that person at the end of the day, because they're suffering from some low self-esteem issues and some other list of things that we can go on about, but you'll know what I mean, and that's sad, even down to people that's like close to you, like, and it's just a shame, like, people try to, step on your toes, step on your educational goals, whatever, different things. You might present a goal to somebody and they looking around like, oh, okay, And you can tell by the whole body language, their whole demeanor, how they looking at you and stuff like that. As women, we should be able to say, you know what? you can do that. Let me see how I can help you do that. Or that support. That's a lot of times we're missing that support. You know, not saying that we don't have the support, but you have people that we are surrounded by every day. And you say you want to do something, and the first thing they doing to piggyback off of Shannon is to try to discourage you from what you really trying to do at the end of the day. But that right there lets me know the same people that sit there and try to step on your toes, they be the same person that's elevating and passing them by. They gonna be doing the same thing.
Exactly.
At the end of the day.
And it's sad to create such a division when we call ourselves women, you know what I mean? But then again, you know, it's the yin and yang of everything. You know what I mean? You got the negative, you got the good. Then you got those that don't know how to compliment somebody else. Because I feel so lacking in myself. I don't want to tell you you look nice because I feel so bad in myself. And I don't like you looking nice because then that means I can't look that way. So, you know, if women were to stick more together, I think we can help each other more eternally. You know what I'm saying? So if I could sit down with you and have a conversation and be open about that conversation and you can relate back to me, then we have built this connection. But yet I'm not going to turn around and dog you about anything you said to me because I done gave something to you and you done given something to me, which becomes expiring. But we tend to, you know what I mean? I want to dog this one and dog this one, and I'm going to like that one, but not like that one. Of course, we're not going to get along with everybody. But those that I don't get along with or discourage me, I treat you with a man or a law. Okay? I don't have to talk to you daily. I don't have to be around you daily. And guess what? But then that also comes back to identifying where I can realize my own shine. Where I can realize exactly what I'm doing for me. You know what I mean? And get inspired by another woman instead of getting defensive of another woman that continues to rise.
Absolutely.
I love that. Yes.
Sorry for you.
I love that. So y'all both with a great points. You know, because I never understood that. Like, I feel like everybody can bring something to the table. You know what I mean? No, and that's another thing a lot of people have misconstrued. Just because you're okay with certain things and I may not be, everybody don't want a degree. Everybody don't want a corporate job. Everybody don't want their own business. You know, if someone's comfortable where they are in life, if what I'm doing inspires you to do you, do you. But I'm never going to look at you as less than. Because you have things that I don't and vice versa at the end of the day. But if people step out their own and out their own, I'm this, I'm that, you all right. You know what I mean? And I have to say you are like that because you're not humble. Humble yourself. I don't sit around and brag about who I am. Those around me know what I do. They know my credentials. I don't have to sit up here and tell you what I got. I'm good in there. You know what I mean? I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know what I got. Right? So I don't think less than now. If you just flat out with no ambition and I'm like, is this something that you would like to do? I'm trying to figure out what you can do. Pull your stuff about you. Right? Because if you're around me, I want you shining. I want you winning. Right? It could be in the smallest way. I don't care what you do. Just do something. Bring something. Right? So yeah, that's another thing that people got to understand. What's for you is for you. Just because of you doing something, that's not their lane. Everybody got a lane and you got to make sure you stay in it. And that's the honest to God truth. But a lot of people, all of it, stay in your lane. Because when you start riding up in mine, you're going to get a real reality check. And it's a crash course. This is my thing. Real talk. This is me. What I do, you can't. And I ain't trying to do what you do.
What's a hoopty to a jag?
You know what I mean? So, that's just that. I have a question because I really, it's Women's History Month. And I'm on a couch with a bunch of women that I respect and love, right? And yes, we all have dealt with men. Some of us are in a relationship right now, marriages, things of that nature, right? And what is one thing, if you can tell a man that a way that can help you, or just one little thing that they can do to make your life better, what would it be? Because sometimes men really don't understand. It's just like, it's just so small. It could be just small. It could be something major, but not like something too crazy, but just one thing that I think that men might not know that can help a woman or a woman in general, the woman that they're dealing with. Like, who want to take that?
Go ahead, Sharon.
I think the ability to listen. The ability to listen brings on the ability to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And me being married, what I had to find out is I had to learn my husband's language of how he communicated and take that time out instead of getting upset, frustrated. You know, I had to learn exactly how he was speaking to me and how I was perceiving it. And sometimes you would sit down, okay, well, so what did you hear me say? Well, I heard you say this. Well, I did say that, but I didn't mean it in the way you perceived it to be. If you have the ability to listen, then you open up the ability to communicate better and more effectively.
I agree 1,000%. I love that. Who's up next?
With that, the tag off of that, I would say the emotional piece to go with that. Emotional support is very important, and I would stress that to the fullest.
I like that as well. Stephanie with an F?
I would say to be present opposed to being financial. Because most of us, we want free things. We don't, we want to give here, we want to give there, and that's okay. Sometimes understand your partner's love language. My love language is acts of service or, acts of touch and things like that. While someone else's love language can be financial. Understand your partner love language so that you can have a smooth selling. So don't compensate with financials for your presence because that is free.
Materialistic.
Yes.
Absolutely. I like that as well. Chapter 8.
For me, I'd say security. It's like men do not understand everything that we go through as women. It's like y'all got it easy. We do not. We get a period every month. We gotta carry these babies. Our bodies getting destroyed. Our weight is up and down. Our hair is falling out.
Oh no! All right now.
Girl, listen. I know women out
The
there
men
that
go,
know.
girl, not us.
Girl, you ain't never seen us
Trust
broke
me,
women. All right now.
It's instant here. It's your legs, okay? No, but seriously.
That's genetics, mama.
It's just like, it's so many things we go through that men don't understand. Stop, because stress can make the hair fall off.
Love on yourself a little. Listen, stress less, love on yourself a little more.
Absolutely. But it's like, for them, they don't really have to worry about nothing. Honestly, they could be fat, they could be out of shape, they could be skinny, they could be whatever. As long as they got the package in front and they know how to distribute it, then they are right. They don't have to worry about anything.
Okay.
Well, I'm saying as far as a woman, see, when men look at us, it's like, damn, no, I don't like that on her. I don't like that. I don't like that. But when a woman see a man, it's like, it's just a man.
Well, men are visual creatures.
Right,
Exactly.
and we
You understand? We do internal.
right, we don't put no expectations on them. I mean, I'm saying like on their exterior.
I do.
I'm sorry.
Listen,
I get what you're saying.
There's other women out there who do not.
Baby,
I don't want no.
you're going to have to come up in here a certain kind of way put together. I want that back form. I want that packed out. I want them arms bulging,
I want
baby.
something to look at.
I
Same way
do
you
too.
do.
I want something to
Absolutely.
feel on. I want it to look good. I want it to smell good. I want it to dress it up well.
Absolutely.
I want all that. I don't want no thinning hair. I ain't no fat man. I mean,
I don't want no toothless
disrespect to
men.
fat
I don't want
men.
none of that.
You ain't gonna
I don't want no two-tier at the bottom and the extra large at the top.
Let me tell you something. I ain't gonna punch you on
But
your
I'm just
stomach for your
saying.
penis
Yes,
to pop
ladies.
out.
And then no, this is not a bashing event for men.
No, it's not, because
No.
what I was saying was security, meaning a man do not understand when a woman say, I don't need you, but I want you. And they don't understand that
Are you speaking on emotional security? Like what type of security?
in every single way. In every single way. They don't understand. Like a woman has a lot going on, so please, they always quick to go, are you insecure? I'm not insecure. However, if I am or if I do have a little bit of insecurity in me, ask me why do I have that? Ask me how did I even come up with that? It's because the things that you're doing, the things that I'm seeing, and the things that you are not doing. It makes me feel like, well, damn, am I woman enough for him? Am I doing enough? I mean, should I be doing more, or it's just a lot. It's a lot that come behind it. So they don't understand. Like I said, when women say, "I don't need you, but I want you," they don't understand that that's more important than somebody needing them. So their egos tend to get bruised because they feel like, damn, she don't need me. She gonna get out there and do it on her own. That's not the point. I just need your time. I need your intimacy. I need your mind.
The free
I need
stuff.
your focus. I
Things
need
money
you.
can't buy.
Right.
That's that
I've never
security
been
right
material-
there.
Yeah, you've never been materialistic. You're
Okay.
just gonna get me.
I like that. Now for me, fellas, please learn to be selfless. It's not always about you.
Thank you.
Okay? Like
Yes.
it comes a time because we can have bad days. We don't get to take a day off and say, I'm going to be about that day. Like I'm trying to get into
Right.
my show. I'm trying to do
Right.
this. No, when you need us, we right front and center. Be selfless, man. Selfless is like something. It's so priceless and it's so easy, right? So men are, and I'm sorry to say it. Some women are selfish, but men are really selfish.
Yeah.
Yes.
And not intentionally. They don't even know no better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's really important to teach a person how to deal and love you, right? Everybody don't require it, but I do. I'm
Yes.
a selfless individual.
Yes.
So you got to match that with me, and that's just what it is for me.
Exactly.
And it's because it tends to, but yeah, it makes you feel some type of way,
Yes.
and rightfully so. Especially like I said, we carry a lot every day. We do a lot. We show up for everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So that selfless piece is extremely important when dealing with your woman, man. Yes, I'm speaking directly to you guys right there.
Absolutely.
Please take that into consideration. And since we have the OG in the room, right?
Come on, baby.
Yes. Like, what is some advice that you would give us sitting here? Because we respect you. We you know what I'm saying. I have seen you grow as an individual, like really, like, and I take my hat off to you. I always say Miss Sharon is the, you know what I mean, because you have grown in ways that most people would never, right? And that to me is a blessing within itself, right? We didn't attend the same colleges, right? We going down the same career paths and things like that, and I just love to see it, right? And oftentimes people think that there's an age on that.
Right.
Anything you want to do is no cap on that, right? Because I enjoy it, and even when I sit in the classroom, I got teenagers sometimes sit beside me, and I'm like, but I'm in here, and that ain't gonna discourage me from being up in here. And then I think it's more empowering, even when I see people older than me in the class. I'm like, damn, she ain't give up, or he ain't give up on his dreams. I like that, right? So it's never too late. So like, what type of advice would you give us, like, because you walk the path that we still trying to get to, right? Even though it's your path, right? Like, what advice would you give us on this couch and women, younger women that's listening?
I would say be kind to yourself. Sometimes as women, we tend to carry the burden of everything on our shoulders, from the kids to the home, to the husband, to the man, to a multitude of things. That sometimes we have to understand that, okay, I am doing good enough. That I am good enough.
Yes.
That was a problem with me. I didn't feel I was worthy on so many levels for so many years, for so many different things. So learning to appreciate me.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And identify that I'm just as worthy as anybody else. No matter what are on my shoulders. I will never allow my past to dictate my future, because I have figured out what I will accept and allow in my life. And I would say that's a key point. Identify what you're willing to accept and allow in your life and for yourself. Because the bottom line is, nobody's going to do it for you. It's always going to be involved, and you're always going to be growing. And don't tear yourself down if you continue to repeat in the same cycle. Because how about this? It's something that you ain't learned yet.
Yes, you missing
It may
a
be
lesson.
something, exactly. It may be something you haven't learned yet. My biggest thing is accept yourself for who you are and be okay with it. The hell what society said, because the society's not helping you get up in that morning, or the society's not helping you put some food on that table, then how can society rule you? We have to learn how to rule ourselves within ourselves. We can be in a relationship with someone, but then, well, am I willing to lose myself in a relationship? You still have to love yourself.
Yes.
And value who you are. We, like I said, it took so long for me to identify who I am. I didn't go back to school till I was 42. You know, and same thing with you. These young kids in the class, I go tap in. Can I get your number? Because I don't understand this, and you seem to know this. Ask for help.
Yes, please.
Ask for help. And what I'm noticing, I need to say, I just want to throw this out there. I need to say I'm noticing and been having conversations with women on different aspects. And what I'm finding is the mental health aspect is affecting our women more widely than it's known.
Yes.
And trying to find treatment for trying to fit with someone, trying to connect with someone, leaves a lot of our women in that mental health state. So when you have someone that you can talk to, you can trust, that's therapy right there.
Absolutely.
It becomes therapy. Don't, you know what I mean? Allow yourself to be heard.
Yes.
Allow yourself to be heard.
I love that advice and thank you. Please. Yes, and just to piggyback off that, you know, it's okay to be vulnerable, right?
Yes.
And not to everybody, but for yourself, right? Because you allow yourself to get to that raw truth of who you are and what you're going through and where you at that moment, right? So many of us feel like we have to dress it up. I'm perfect, I'm this, I'm that, I got it all together, and we falling apart in the inside, right? We go behind that door, snatch that damn wig off, and we a mess. Right? No, real talk, right? Because we really holding on by a thread, and it's like, but everybody else, oh, she got it together, she got it going on, but she this, she that. And when you are in your truth and know who you are, and where you at, where you come from, you know, and where you going. You got to be going somewhere, you know, working towards something. And like I said, I don't care how small or how major it is, you have to be wanting something for yourself. And yes, and like you said, in that relationship, you're your own person.
Yes.
Please don't forget that. You can love somebody all day long, but what about you? Because if you're not right, you can't help those kids. You can't love up on that man. You can't go make that money. You can't clean those clothes. You can't cook that dinner. You can't do anything. You right there, the queen sits at the top for a reason. Yes, the king is right there, but the queen. If you ever noticed that, that's why men that respect their woman, they know the woman make their world go round, right? We get out there, we make it, like even in man, listen, I'm so happy that I'm a woman. I don't even know what it is to be a man because I don't want to know. All I want to do is understand you as a man so I know how to love you and deal with you. But as far as anything outside of that, I love being a woman. You know, and I'm just glad that, you know, I'm able to sit here and get everyone's perspective, right? Everybody has been through things, everybody is going places, and everybody just have to be okay with where they at right now, right? We don't always all have it figured out. None of us really do. Some of us do, some of us don't, and then that's when you get it confused there, right? And one thing I do want to tell you, ladies. Oh dear, oh God, dear. It's really important, and I don't know how many of you do. I'm big on them, vision boards, right? I need to see my goals every day that I wake up, right? And be able to say, oh dang, I did it, and I always put like a date on when I think that I should achieve this goal, right? So it's a constant reminder every time I look. I could be sitting at the TV and I look up like, hey, I got to get to it, right? Because I procrastinate. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a procrastinator, right? So yeah, having a vision board really like brings the things that you really want to life, right? And seeing it and knowing it and working towards it makes it a reality. So do any of you guys believe in vision boards or have vision boards?
I got one in the backseat of my car right now.
That is important because you get to really visualize what you got going on, where you going and where you headed in life. You know, and to really look at that and have a visual of that reminds you every day as to what it is that you're doing. And it lets you know, like, okay, I done did this goal. Let me cross that off the board, you know. And you have a lot of people that, don't understand the meaning of that vision board. Like, that really lets you know what you want. It just really provides you with a visual. We could think it all day, but to really see our goals mapped out in front of us, it's like, okay, cool. I know I got to do this.
Right.
It really puts like a little bit of pressure on you to really get that goal set and going. So that's my take on that.
You was about to say something about the
Oh, honey, no, I need one.
Yes.
Because it's always in my head of what I want to do, and there's so many things I want to do. Okay, but I got to do this first. So when I've reached my goals, when I look at my goals, even though I don't have a vision board, and I need to create one, and I think y'all just put me on the spot today because I always want to create it, so now I need to go create it.
Please
Right?
do.
But I tend to look at my goals, okay, well, where am I at now, the state of mind that I'm in now, and what am I doing now, and when I finish that, okay, here's next, what's next?
Exactly.
It's always about next for me.
Yes.
Next, I'm going to do this, okay, I've accomplished now, I did it, what's next?
Yes.
So, yeah.
I agree
For me.
1,000%. What you about to say about the vision board?
I have a vision board in the back seat of the car right now. Actually, my therapist told me to make it, but before any of that, I had already set myself up on a 5-year plan. I said I got until I'm 35 to graduate, have my house, and settling in my career. Although some things happened, and I fell
Life
off track.
happens. Life
Yeah.
happens.
I fell off track. However, I'm still working towards my goals. It may not be
Absolutely.
within that 5-year plan that I set them up in, but I'm not quitting on myself or my goals that I want to tackle in life.
Stay
So,
resilient.
And I feel that's very important because sometimes, people put goals in themselves and then when they don't reach them, they beat themselves up.
Absolutely.
As long as you're working, slow progress is always better than no
Yes.
progress any
Yes.
day. As long as you're working to do something better. I don't care if you're home depressed and you couldn't get up the last 3 days. But today I got up and I put some clothes on, I washed my behind. Okay, that's progress.
Yes. Absolutely.
We tend to take for granted some of the things we do. You know what I mean? So then when we don't do them, now I beat myself up. Stop beating yourself up because when you visualize and look at all that you do, what you're doing extra becomes extraordinary.
Yes.
Because you're still putting one foot in front of the other to do something better.
And that's important. And can I say this? That's important to really, and it could be a small goal. And a lot of people think that you got to put the goal bar all the way up here,
Exactly.
and that's important of making the goals measurable.
Exactly.
Because you gotta start small to get to that level of actually where you want to be.
Yes.
So that's the important piece of it all as well.
Absolutely.
And goals are customized. Moving
Mhm.
the beat of
Yes,
your
they
own
are.
drum.
Yes.
Please
I always
do.
feel like we don't feel like we're enough. If you never get remarried, you're enough. If you never have another child, you are enough. If you never ever buy that dream house, you are enough.
Exactly.
You're enough just the way you are. Everything that you need, you already have within yourself. And we are always searching outsource for what we need. Dig inside of you and love you. Be resilient. You're a woman. You're made to be that way. You give freaking birth to a life. Like what? You literally birth a human. Do you understand that? I'm still trying to grasp my mind around the concept. Like, oh my God, I gave birth to a human. Wow. A woman. Wow.
Some of the things we take for granted.
Yes.
We powerful individuals, you
Yes.
know, and that's just what it is, and I love every ounce of it. At the end of the day, I love that y'all said that. Y'all all gotta be okay with where you're at in life, and that's every woman, you know, because if you live by what someone think you should be, you're in the world of trouble for
Yes.
the rest of your life.
Yes.
And so many people want cheer for yourself. Why are you looking for outside approval? Right? Because I think that's more so what it is. Well, I want them to look at me in a certain way. I want them to accept me. I don't want to sit with a group of people that I have to meet certain requirements to even sit with.
Yes.
I ain't interested. But we ain't talking on a financial level or something like that to get into the club. If we're talking about personalities and just what I got going on as an individual, I don't even want to be in that group. Well, you can't even sit with me. If you want to really get technical about it. So, when it's all said and done, I just think that every woman should be okay with where they are at, whether it's physically, financially, educationally, even in your relationship status. Yeah, some people been married, divorced, engaged, in a relationship, not in a relationship, overcoming the relationships they've been in. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out where they at in the relationship they at now and growing not only with their self, with their spouse. It's just a lot, even down to us being parents, because everybody on this couch is a parent. That's a job within itself that never ends. It's overtime 24/7. It's no breaks, even when they get older and get out of your home. Okay?
Yeah.
So mom, that's why mom is a powerful individual. Being a mom, yes, is most rewarding, but it's the most stressful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't care how you dress it up.
No, yes,
That's
it's
a
very
stressful job. It's rewarding, but it's stressful. It's sacrifices and all in between.
And even though they get out there on their own, they think they grown. At the end of the day, when they sick, something wrong, who the first person they call? Mom, excuse me, I'm confused. You just said you can do it on your own. You don't need me. Oh, you left. Oh, hello. Well, how may I help you? Oh, you need me. Okay.
Which
Yeah,
we
so
already
what can I
know.
help
That's
you
what
with?
kids do. That's the
Exactly.
beauty of being the mom, right?
To accept them as they are.
Exactly. Meet them where they at, and that's another
Exactly.
thing. And I want to say this as a mom myself. We tend to have expectations of our children that we don't even have of ourselves. You understand? And I had to step back and think about that in my own. And sometimes you have to switch roles. We always trying to jump in, the driver's seat because we don't want our kids to fail, right? So we overcompensate in areas, and we always trying to micromanage our children. When in our reality, like, in order for them to grow and know who they are as individuals, they have to make those mistakes. They have to find a path, right? And that's okay. I had to become okay with that. Like, I literally, just about a week, I became okay with that. Like a week, and my baby would be 19 in another week, right? And I literally had to say to myself, listen, you gotta switch roles here. Because you keep on disappointing yourself. You know what I mean? You gotta let her be great. She don't live in my house. You know what I mean? So I have to switch roles. That ain't my position no more. I'm going to always be mom, and I'm going to, step in where I can. But it's not my job to drive their car no more.
Right.
That's her job. And then if I want to, have a growing, loving relationship with her, I have to step out the driver's seat and get in the passenger. I might not even be in the car sometimes. Pick me up when you need me, please. Because now I want to focus on me now a little bit. You know what I mean? I said my 13-year-old and things like that, but I want to focus more on what Shannon wants, what Shannon needs to do for me. Because I did my part with her. And yes, I'm going to still do whatever I need to do, but I did my part.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And all I could do is hope that what I instilled in her, it shows up where it needs to show up at.
That's right.
And not be disappointed when it don't show up.
Exactly.
Because just because I'm a certain way, and I had to think about that, she's not me and I'm not her.
Exactly.
But sprinkles of me, I guess, is in there. Because it's in the DNA, right? Will it show up right away? No, sometimes it don't. It might take years, and I'm like, she finally got it. This is what I've been trying to do. So as parents, we really got to be okay with that, because that's a lot of pressure. And people tell you all day how to be a parent. Now, basic things, yes, every parent should do basic needs of their kids. Now, I don't care what kind of woman, you better get the basic things your kids needs done and showing up, because we don't get that. Like you said, single mom, we don't get to leave.
Right.
We got to stick and stay. And just because you did doesn't mean that you're doing a good job, and I'm sorry to say it. You show up all the way around the board. You know what I mean? Because, and that's a lot of people say, oh, I never left. Yeah, but did you do a good damn job?
Yes.
Just because you're there don't mean that you're useful, and I'm sorry to say it.
And
Woman, I'm sorry. We have to hear that too.
Yes.
And be a good mom to your kids. Yes, it's stressful. Yes, the father may love you. Yes, it's all on your shoulders. But you ain't a woman for nothing.
Exactly.
Okay? And that's just that. I really enjoyed all of y'all coming on. Like, I really, really appreciate everything that everyone said. And I just can't wait for other people to be able to hear this, right? And hopefully women can sit there and say, Dad, I'm enough. I'm doing enough. let me start being okay with where I'm at today.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Let me not compare myself. Dang, if I did think that lady walked in, she looked good. Let me tell her I liked her
Exactly.
shoes.
Mhm.
You know,
Exactly.
because the worst thing you could do as a woman is be jealous hearted.
That's right.
Exactly.
You know, and to envy another woman.
That's
Ain't
right.
no woman I ever want to be but me.
Absolutely.
And that's that. This
I
is
love
Nash
me.
signing off.
I love
Hair
it.
shining off.
Stephanie with the knife.
Sharon.
Shout out to Yvonne.
Good night.